This is our week 7, day 1. Number 1, which number sentence below is true? So I've got 4/5 is less than 3/4, 4/5 equals 3/4, 3/4 is less than 4/5, and 3/4 is greater than 4/5. Well, I'm going to cross off the equal to right away because I know that they're not equal to one another. And then I can also say that A and D say the same thing. But they're all the same fractions. So I'm going to make a fraction bar. And I want to make the bars the same length. And I'm going to do fourths and fifths. Okay. And then I need to shade 4/5, and then I need to shade 3/4. And I can see that they're very, very close, but if I extend these lines a little bit on my fraction, I can see that 4/5 is just a little bit bigger, which matches C. I could also do it where I find a common denominator and make them both have 20. And so 5 times 4 is 20 and 4 times 4 is 16. And then over here, if I made it 20, 4 times 5 is 20, 3 times 5 is 15. So 15/20 is less than 16/20 is true. This one, making equivalent fractions might be a slightly better way to see it. Number 2. Greg drank half of his milk and Riley drank 1/3 of hers. Which statement is true? So now I'm comparing a half and a third. Well, half is kind of that benchmark, and a third I know is less than a half because half of 3 is 1.5. So I need to find one that says 1/2 is bigger, and that's A. Number 3, looking at the models below, which statement is true? Well, without even figuring out what the fractions are, I see that they are lined up exactly. So whatever the fractions are, which are 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6, so 4/6, and 2/3, they must be equal to each other because the exact same amount is shaded. Number 4, which number can be used to make the number sentence true? So I need something is greater than 1/3. Well, I know that the bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece. So 1/3 would be equal to 1/3, so that doesn't work. And if I'm having smaller pieces, then they're not going to be larger. And we figured out in problem number 2 that 1/2 is bigger than 1/3. Number 5, which fraction is equivalent to 8/12? Well, I am going to kind of cross off 4/5 and 5/9 right away because 5 can't go to 12 and 9 can't go to 12. So I'm going to look at these two. If I have 3/4 and I want to go to 12ths, I know 4 times 3 is 12, so 3 times 3 is 9. 9/12 is not equivalent to 8/12, so that doesn't work. So let's try 2/3. 2/3 if I'm going to 12ths. 3 times 4 is 12, and 2 times 4 is 8, which is the same, so 2/3 is my equivalent. And number 6, the recipe calls for 2/3 cup of milk and 3/4, sorry, that's hard to see, 3/4 cup of flour. Which statement is true? So I'm comparing 2/3 and 3/4. So I can draw a fraction model again. Top one is 2/3. The bottom one is 3/4. So there's 2/3. It goes, I'm going to extend that line so we can see to there. And there's 3/4. And I extend it to there. So I can see that 3/4 is bigger, which matches D. So that's week 7, day 1.